All right, hello world. Today's we're featuring Word Up as our featured reader here at Salem Poetry Project. I put my glasses away, which is a giant mistake. Now I'm just looking at a big blur. Okay, there we go. Liz Schillinger Cruz produces and hosts Word Up, a lively radio program celebrating writers, book monsters, and musicians. What's more fun than to explore the creative experience? Tonight, several guest poets from Word Up will share new work and maybe a few favorites this last night of National Poetry Month. And there will be cake, but not if you're at home. Or maybe if you have a cake at home, maybe. Anyway, here's Liz.
Hey, everybody. All rise, please. No, for real. All rise. I watched the first Salem Poetry Project of the year in January 2026, and Mark announced that it was the 10th year that he's been producing this wonderful experience. Yes, there was no standing ovation. All right, you missed it. I'll just tell you briefly what Word Up is. First of all, we have an incredible opportunity here in Salem. It is called KMUZ Community Radio. So I don't know if you've listened to it. It is all volunteer, non-commercial, non-profit, and easy to access. Any of you who want to do a program can. It's very simple technology. All you have to do is submit a proposal and have some kind of commitment so that you do a weekly show, generally. Mine is bi-monthly, I guess I would say. First and third. So if you want to hear Word Up, so Word Up, I talk to poets, authors, book monsters, which are readers, people who love to read, and musicians, other performers. Saturday night, 6 p.m., kmuz.org, or you can get the app, or if you have a radio, it's a thrill to sit in your car and tune in to 88.5 or 100.7 FM. Just one more note, it kind of has slipped my mind already. Oh, this Saturday, new show, and the topic is postcard poetry. We also have an archive on kmuz.org, so if you are not celebrating by listening to the program at 6 p.m. on Saturday night, you can go to the website and hear it anytime you want for 2 weeks. The one that's in the archive right now is a fantastic poem all about the Persian form ghazal. So, okay. Tonight I want to introduce our southern cousins, mostly from Corvallis, Dallas, Jefferson, and one flower from Salem. First poet is Charlotte.
Hello, my name is Charlotte. I'm in 7th grade and I'm 13 years old. And my competition for squares is this Saturday, so I will be leaving swiftly after this to go to my last practice. I have 2 poems to read today. A poem about the world. An orange man wearing a jingly hat sits in a marbled bathroom on a Discord call about the war. Meanwhile, his distractions just keep getting better and better. I mean, you don't even notice until you look. Hashtag For You page, hashtag Coachella, hashtag One Less Lonely Girl. I mean, it's clearly working. I've heard more about Manon's absence from Cat's Eye than I have about the Epstein files, which is quite worrying. Our water is dirty, our air has God knows what's in it, and that bubble is about to pop. An orange man tweets out a threat about wiping out an entire population of people, while I sit here arguing with an AI bro about the effects that AI has on our planet. Oh, and fun fact, our president appears in the Epstein files more than 38,000 times, which is more than the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost combined in the Bible. And did I mention how absurd it is for me to be the one who wrote this? I am a 7th grader with a higher IQ than the president. An orange man is essentially what I would call BFFs with one of the most disgusting beings on the planet. I was going to say human, but the thought of him being the same species as me makes me physically sick. Oh, and I forgot. Didn't they hang the American flag at half-mast for almost a week for a man who is nothing more than a glorified podcast bro cosplaying as a scholar? I used to be an excited 2nd grader making paper dolls in her bedroom. I am now a snarky middle schooler making protest signs watching My Little Pony. Clearly, things have changed. And then my second one is called 13. I am 13. I like to draw. I am 13. I just learned how to swim. I am 13. I was 8 when the pandemic started. I am 13. I carry my pocket knife with me everywhere. I am 13. I am already cautious around older men. I am 13. I know how to hide from an active shooter better than I know my times tables. I am 13. I know that bear mace is more powerful than pepper spray and where to hit someone if they attack me. I am 13. I should be playing Minecraft or going to the park with my friends, and instead, I'm at home working on how to protect myself from the world. Thank you.
May I say that I met Charlotte many years ago. I was in a poetry group that she attended, and while the members were, scribbling to a prompt, Charlotte whipped off 3 poems. So there was chagrin. Next, I'd like to invite Sarah Rose up.
Hi, thank you so much for asking me to be on this program. I love being interviewed by Liz at Word Up. I was a reporter for many years, and Liz is really a top-notch interviewer, and I love her questions, and she draws people out, and it was just such a joy, and I love having this program in our community. So thank you so much, Liz. I'm going to read a couple poems, mostly about a friend of mine who no longer is a friend. So, prayer flags from a now estranged friend. Before you stopped hiding, you and atheists sent me prayer flags. On a hot day, I hung them outside the front window, watching them sway in warm summer winds, colors vibrant, even happy. A decade ago, we pledged our friendship even over distance. Then misunderstanding, harsh words drove us to silence. Where are you now? Away from any blinds that might rise between us this winter. Outside, cold wind blows like ice over concrete. I still hear the sound of your voice and hold your letters. Write your name in a heart. On bright winter days, the flags move ceaselessly. Now their colors are nearly faded, their lettering almost gone. Some days the prayers are still when the air is calm and you can hear almost anything. And this is another poem about her. How I thought of you today. Fallen camellias on black asphalt, torn and battered fabric fraying. Wind that has no noise. This is how I think of you today as gray rain clouds gather and then flatten out above me, a soft cover for how leaves might land. I promise not to dig nor plant seeds, and I seal up all those words that get choked out in sighs when I'm alone under winter trees, thinking of you, your silence, your smiles I can't see, only remember. So this last poem is called Salvation. I got inspired to write it. I joined the Stafford Challenge, which is a year-long poem a day challenge, and I've been trying to keep up with it. Kim Stafford kicks it off every year, so he had us write a list poem, things that keep you inspired. So this is what I wrote. It's a hay-bin, which is a prose poem followed by a haiku. Salvation. It was a cat in the window with afternoon sun, or nothing more than a sound the clock made at night. Something inside the cupboards that spoke of treasure and lost manuscripts. Words of hope, words of wisdom, the silences between sounds. When I rose in the dark and faced the hours, it came to me from the cold plains of windows and the familiar shape of trees outside, even in branches broken by the chainsaws. I thought of my friend's hand that slipped away like hot metal sloughing off hard surfaces, and the brokenness came again and again through the hours. I told myself to turn from those figures sitting mid-morning at a table, fingering prayer beads and cutting pictures of saints out of books. Take it all to the free library down the street, the one misshapen by the rain. That flat light on the wall, all it ever said was, "You are here, and that is enough." And then the haiku, wandering back in, papers yellowed in drawers, words washing in light. Thank you so much.
I got to meet Sarah at another poetry event. I can feel this is lowering. I think put on by the Mid-Willamette Valley Poetry Association. Yeah, and it was a really neat night. They had published a little book with artwork and poetry. And Sarah had written, I don't know, a dozen haiku. So that's how I met her. Anyway, good to know her. The next poet I'd like to invite is one of my favorites. I mean, just like all of you here tonight, one of my favorites, Jerry Elliott Otto.
Thank you. I wanted to say thank you to Liz for offering Word Up on KMUC Community Radio, because it is such an opportunity for not only the poets who have a chance to be interviewed and have conversation, not only poets, but writers, readers, performers, but also it's such a gift to the community of writers and readers in this area. So thank you for inviting us and for this opportunity. And also, I don't see him here now, but thank you to Mark. Here he is. I wanted to say thanks to Mark, too. I have attended many from many years ago, and I know you, Liz said that you have been doing this for 10 years, which is wonderful and another gift to the community. And I was thinking about the coffee houses and pubs and parks and galleries and now a church. And these are all places where poetry belongs. And thank you. So the first poem I'd like to read is from a very early little hand-sewn chapbook that I made called Strange Country. And this is the title poem. Strange country. I'm in a strange country, less than half a mile from home. I never saw this fence, these trees, a big-footed horse that wanders where crops untended tumble down in rain. A sign says, slow, blind, curve. Who travels the approaching lane? What hidden animal is there? Contours that could be home are curtained behind me in smoke. This is not the old Grange Road angling off to north and east. The wrong sky, low, weighted, bleak, descending like a night of stone. Someone sits in silence beside me. What language do we speak? I don't know if probably you have had the experience of driving on a familiar place and all of a sudden you're aware that, where am I? How did I get here? The second poem is called Vixen. The gray fox plunged from the forest onto our suburban lawn, running with her mate. They undulated like streaming silver water, his nose to her long, lush tail. Her tongue was a crimson ribbon threaded through her smiling mouth. She coursed from the forest, never slowing, past the cold, dormant rose, the planted linden tree, the native kinnick, to lower herself at the edge of our back deck. An incidental bow and under, where she disappeared from my glassed-in view as I looked out from the window, from fog at dawn. I was roused to joy or to envy. Oh, her wild composure in that liquid focused moment. My breath stopped until she emerged, still leading at a run from the far end of the structure, and something small dangled from her perfect teeth. Another strange thing to be up that early in the morning and look out and see something so surprising. This is called Last Night, and there is an epigraph from Godzilla in Mexico by Roberto Bolaño. The epigraph: I was reading in the bedroom next door when I realized we were going to die. I was reading in the bedroom. I was cooking in the kitchen. I was cleaning the countertops, oiling the cutting board. I was setting the stopped clocks. I was walking out to feel the cold air, to look up at the sky, to find stars, to hear a car pass by. Fall crickets or spring frogs calling, near silence between. And all the time, the bombs, the soldiers are falling somewhere. The children are falling out of their dreams. And this one is another middle of the night poem called Embracive Night. And it was written as a prose poem, like in a column, because it's almost like one long sentence. I hope I can read it so you can follow along. Embracive Night. Embracive night, whole the moon, the uncut melon of it, the dreamsicle orange sweetness and white coolness, even as it melts itself across the lawn, yet remains entire. And wholeness of body, complete and sound as it is in youth, and diminished but also whole in fullness of age, complete as it remains, leaving us grateful for the concept that stars do circulate in light, though invisible to us except in darkness, orbiting their lightness in timelessness of space, the whole sun-to-sun day, while lives are lived below in hours, or a year, or within the century, no matter how, and within the pages of books, in the hardbound opus, short novella, or the quickest fiction, in a shrug or a look, whole within the moment where the cracked plate is still the truth. The whole broken story will never know the all of, the total life, the whole number undivided, the everything as it engulfs us, as the fog, as an ocean, or as the flames, believed or not. And this is not the half of it. There are two sides at least, or more, to the story, to the coin, the moon, the yang as well as yin, that figured ground perception of what's left, the better half, what is gone. Yet the whole of the remainder remains, and then begins the unending again, wholly changed. And one quick one. This was a postcard poem. Winter Incantation. O dear divine, O and time, before and after, let friends touch hands with friends who bring to each other their poems. Let us hear the hum beyond the hum, feel the thrum of euphony. Let all things flow and keep flowing. Bring us bright trees year after year, the bowing down of moon-hung branches, the dancing of starry lights. Show us the blue bowl heaven, her circuits and transits, her haloed mother.
She read all my favorites. This is driving me crazy, man. Just way too low. I want to introduce my teacher, who I met in, I think, 2002. I had a chance to attend Oregon Writing Project, which is part of the National Writing Project, which is how I learned how to write. What the Oregon Writing Project is, it's called Teachers Teaching Teachers. So for a month, you go to school every day, and the format is you have a prompt, and you work with that prompt, you write to it, and then you do a lesson. You create a lesson. You get a little more time to do that. And then you get to present your lesson, writing lesson, and then the rest of the teachers can talk about, oh, I could extend this for junior high, or this is good for high school sophomores or beyond, or what could I do with my kindergarten kids with this word or this prompt. So anyway, I was signed up, and I was so nervous and so shy that I called up Steve on the phone. I go, I just can't do it. I can't. I'm too scared. And he said, well, come on, give it a try for a day. And it was like, got the hook. Anyway, I've known Steve all this time and gotten to enjoy his poetry and see it change over time, what his fascinations are. Also, I've gotten a chance to write in several groups with him over the years, and we still use that Oregon writing project format. And so people bring a poem. Can you find a prompt in it when you read it? Okay, now we're going to write to it and share. And the absolutely wonderful thing is, what's the subplot? Love, L-O-V-E. Because when you share, there's never criticism. It's only, response, a beautiful, loving response. So, anyhow, all that by way of introducing Steve Jones.
For 13 years, I got to write with K through college teachers for a month every summer, and it was a delight every summer. And the same way with my students, we would do at the Summer Institute, we would free write, and then I'd say, can you pick out one line to share with the group? And they go, okay, I can do that. And then after 3 or 4 days, can I just read the whole thing? So, kind of breaks the ice. I'm a no written record golfer, and I try not to be insufferable about it. But this is called Twilight Golf. Late on a mellow July afternoon, I found the Marysville boys milling around the first tee, making Nassau wagers and jostling one another. Join us, someone called. As I unloaded my sticks from the boot, we teed off in flights of 4, playing into the late sun. Shirt sleeves wagging in the breeze of the Marys River. After a few holes, the course took on a dark sheen. So the long 5th fairway startled us in the gloam, looming up at 500 dusky yards. Our foursome played around to 8, where my drive disappeared off the tee, flying the dark pond to reappear fat and glowing on the green, basking in the last glimpse of sun. We lost our shadows walking in on 9 and sat in the clubhouse porch, swapping yarns and drinking lemon beer while the last flights cruised in. That little golf course is no longer in existence. The city of Corvallis almost bought it. I think they got second thoughts about how much work it would be to run a golf course, in addition to taking care of a city water, sewer, and they kind of backed out of the deal. Here's a poem called Old Tools. I collect tools that I could possibly use around the house, and often I do use them. Not every time. Old tools. Slick chisel, brace and bit, cat's paw and monkey wrench. Old tools speak to me through their dings, rust and scratches, the patina of hard knocks, repairs in dark crawl spaces, under jacked up trucks, and bloodied, barked knuckles. Old tools are often the best carbon steel, best design, and have forgotten more tricks than some millwrights will ever know. Old tools and bins at Seattle Hardwick's Hardware, yard sales, and flea markets anticipate the next rough hand, another strong grip, to bring them to bear, to repair and restore. I wonder who will use my old tools next. This is based on a story a student told in class. She said, this was not me. But then she told this story that I kind of elaborated on a little bit. I was lucky to teach at both Sprague and West when it first opened up for about 13 years total. This is called Traveling the Circle of 20 Apes. When I was young, my dad was shot from a cannon. We traveled with the Pickle Brothers Circus. Dad meticulously loaded the cannon in each town. Exactly 200 pounds, aimed and fired until he hit the catch net dead center. Mother bicycled a taut steel cable with a leather sling in her teeth, balancing a 10-gallon aquarium of Oscars. The circus family made a ceremony for new babies. When I was 6 months old, all the mature apes were gathered and set in a circle. They understood what was coming, knew the trust shared among the strongest primates in the circus troupe. My mother tells how she unwrapped my flannel blanket, handed me in diapers and a double-breasted t-shirt to Bruni, the oldest mother ape. She reached out gently, turning and nuzzling me, staring, memorizing my features, green eyes and button nose. All apes in attendance watched intensely. After Bruni got my looks, my smell, she passed me to her mate, who did likewise. So I traveled the circle of 20 apes, arm to arm. Each Valentine's Day, I write my wife and lover, Anna Maria, a Valentine's poem. And this is one I wrote in the note at the bottom is 2003, so a few years back. And it's entitled Years and Years for Anna Maria, born January of 46. Thank you for patiently living with me all through my bullheaded 20s, my digging my heels in 30s, my Missouri mule 40s. Now during my 50s, I am newly acquiescent, nearly compliant in my long-winded stubbornness. Remember how we're both eldest children and used to getting our way. always having our druthers. Grandmother Miz would say, the druthers part, and I'm so pleased that you're 3 months older, testing the waters for weeks before persnickety I need go there. I depend on you as forerunner or mine canary, she who has learned the hazards and can lead me safely through. Thank you for that.
Are these poets great? Yes. Candace Mackey is a new friend and a new poet that I've had a chance to write with. I'd like to invite her now.
Y'all are popping my cherry tonight. I've never read in front of people, so thank you. In a church. We thought it was appropriate, yes. One way I've heard poetry described is painfully assembling words. But from my first poem in 7th grade, I've always thought my pain assembled my words. As I grew a little less angsty, had the rhythm, some rhyme, and let all the emotions of humanity assemble the words. Thanks to Liz, thank you Mark also, and all of you here tonight for sharing our and your humanity. Are you ready for some sport? All right, get out your catcher's mitts. I'm gonna be throwing some crazy and throwing light crazy. Some you'll catch, some will catch you, some will whiz by, but the playing is so good. It is the essence of deliciousness. So, let us begin. So you've met my writing mates, and I have been so fortunate to have them teach me and be patient with me and kind and create just such a warm and welcome space. So I wrote a poem about our group called Soup of Chance. I picture a pot, a large cauldron really. Each Sunday it's empty, waiting to be filled. Today, Steve's words are very woody. Today, Jesse's words are herbal and earthy. Today, Liz's words are salty and sweet. Today, Jerry's words are water. Today, my words are rich. The divine ride whisper ends up in our big, beautiful soup of chance. Okay, and of course I forgot all of my books before I came, so just bear with me as I'm trying to sort through some pictures that my lovely partner sent me, thank goodness. So this is called, actually I didn't name this one, but it's based from a writing we did after reading Splash by Bukowski. The puke is on the page. No amount of paper towels or vinegar is going to take away that smell or the pool of blood from the beggar's knife. The dump truck of words unloaded into the hot sandbox of my psyche. These words force me to a new madness. Oscar Wilde is dancing in my devil's circus of elephant dreams. Mr. Bukowski, the ringmaster of illusion and inspiration. From the blinding light and the nausea of the merry-go-round of the iambic pentameter comes a single piercing bird call, jerking to a halt the action of creation, a veil of calm slowly descending. Thank you. All right. This one's called Mom Aphantasia, or Mama Fantasia. I was introduced to aphantasia through my sister-in-law Jessie and Jerry, who just spoke. I had no idea what it was. It is the inability, correct me if I'm wrong, to be able to picture things in your mind. I don't have that, and I've never thought that. I thought everybody else could picture things in their minds. So I wrote Mom Aphantasia. If your face had always been blurry, a mere energy, muddy blob of emotion, rather than clear as your IV fluids, would I miss you less? Now? Now that it has been 23 years, your voice absent from my head, which makes me sad and happy. I sing to my son because it's the closest I can come to remembering. I sing to my son to somehow open a vein to sonically connect you. Thank you. Okay. And if I need to stop, let me know. I don't have much more. All right. I wanted to write this one because I think it's hard for us all to fit in writing, but we make it work. Some of us have more time than others, but I really respect the time and the energy. It's called The Flying Circus. I find the seat in its business office black, the book, the pencil, and suddenly all of my genius good starts to poems have left the circus to pursue being a dog mom, mama, wife, and working woman. Shit, I'll try again tomorrow. All right. And I think that is, I have one more. I'm going to take you on a little journey called Spring 2025. I would pack a sack of lunch and travel the world. I would begin with my backyard, perhaps some bread, cheese, and water in my sack lunch, listening for the return of songbirds, the chartreuse buds of Indian plum calling to be seen. I would pack a sack lunch, pack myself into my highly dangerous, earth-warming 25,000-pound killing machine, go west, watching the trees thicken as if quickly approaching a pointillist painting of green dots. The spring tumble to creeks tumble to a wide river, to the open sea. I am free. Thank you.
All right. I would just tell a quick tale about this next poet from Dallas, Oregon. I was living in Dallas, and I went to the best library in the world, which is Dallas Public Library. If you have a chance to visit and support that beautiful, sweet little hometown library, who every month has authors come and visit and read. I went to a workshop called Creativity and Vulnerability. Okay, so I went, and it was crazy. One of the things we had to do, that the young man who was leading the workshop or facilitating, we had to choose a partner and sit there in silence and gaze into each other's eyes. And I just couldn't stop laughing. This poor guy that was my partner, I couldn't, I guess, kind of nervous. But after that whole workshop, there was a young woman with short hair and dark hair with this purple sheen to it. And she had said she was a poet. So I went up, and she said, yeah. So Jessie came on the show, and that's how I was introduced to her as a poet. And I call her the Emily Dickinson of Dallas, Oregon. Because she started writing 100 years ago and really never showed anybody her poetry. And she broke through that wall, I'm glad to say. Here she is, Jessie Mackey.
Thank you, Liz.
and thank you for picking me up at the library all those years ago. It's been very rewarding to write with everyone. So I have a few, mostly postcard poems and a protest poem. So I'll start with the postcard poetry. Strange love. Like Stephen loves Christine, I love you in every universe, every iteration, incarnation, and version of you, the worst, the best, and all the in-between yous. Every facet, each nuance, each choice, even when your choice is not me. I walk through portals and into phone booths. The earth opens beneath my feet and I step into the abyss. If you are there, I am there. You are what I need, like water, light, and air. Without you, it's all supernova black hole, and I'm touching artifacts and tesseracts, turning keys and diving headfirst into wardrobes in search of you. This one is a poem I wrote for a friend who was also a mentor in our writing group, Ann Staley, and she passed some years ago. It's been longer than I thought, 3 years now. And I actually wrote this for Liz and Jared. Friendship is a poem, sitting quietly at your bedside, silent witness to your rest. She tells me you sip only juice now. Anything that matters is here, just as you will still be here, even after you've gone to explore the rogue rivers of what's next. In our words, our writings, and quiet contemplations, there you are, echoing and eternal, as are we all. This one is reply to the question, how can you become a poet? Feel big, too big for all the space you occupy. Let the rest spill forth onto the pages. Observe, reflect, and observe more. Write it down. Fall in love with words and ideas, anything or anyone. Love can't stop telling its truth. Break apart, wholly, completely. Use words and metaphors to stitch yourself back together. Reinforce the scenes as you work. Celebrate, be exuberant. Feel all this world has to offer in your bones, the endless joys and heartbreaks, measured in turn, balancing cosmic scales. After all of this, ask yourself, how can I not? And I have a couple more short ones here. So, this one's called the 24-Hour Church of Elvis. The 24-Hour Church of Elvis beckons followers inside to worship art, coin-operated novelty, or the king. The artist gives free tours, but reminds you she still needs to pay the bills. You buy a t-shirt and decline a wedding, legal or otherwise. And then, thank you. All right, two more, okay, on time here. All right, two more. Tearing down rotted wood, we relocate the most stunning moss and lichen to new garden homes. The fence is down, our flaws exposed to the neighbors and the moon. I stayed up all night to watch it. And our first reader, Charlotte, she's mine, that's my child. So we were on protest poems, and I think that's where she got inspired after we had one of those days, so this is what I wrote on that day. There's a we here. We protest, protect, predict violence, voice opposition, oppose, propose a new vision, visualize the future for us, from us, U.S. sinking ship, shore up, SOS, SS in our government, renamed ICE, ICE out. The billionaires, ICE out of our cities and communities. Collective activism, citizens united and less divided. Divisive policies, end of DEI, devout, devoid of compassion. Cruelty, crime, criminal in the White House, ICE out.
I don't know about you, but I've been getting teary-eyed for some of these, just beautiful. Oh, right, I do have a little joke for you. And we're taking up all kinds of time, but it's a good time. One thing I love on Word Up expands. You know, it's I love poets, but it's not only poets. It's also about vocabulary, which as I get older, every day I'm losing more and more words. But a friend sent this one, and I thought you could incorporate it in your own day-to-day. From the 17th century. It is latibulate, to hide in a corner in an attempt to escape reality. Latibulate. My new favorite. Okay, here's our last wonderful presenter. I don't know, there's a lot. I'm just trying to condense it in one word. I met Kenny Hook like 30 years ago. It happened to be at another community entity, Capital Community Television. Now let me just give one more plug for community media, of the people, by the people, for the people. Forget about PBS. That is not the public. You know, you don't see yourself on PBS, okay? There are professionals running that show, and OPB, Oregon Public Broadcasting, National Public Radio. It's because, you know, the public supports it. But right here in Salem, you want to do a radio show? Come on down. You can be on the air. You want to do television with state-of-the-art equipment? I am not kidding you. Forget about going to film school. There's no need. Okay, and that's called Capital Community Media. Right on Church and Trade. That's our building. This stuff is free, you guys. This, you know, you pay $30 for a class, that's it. Access to airways, to reach out to your community and express yourself. That's all. Anyway, I met Kenny long ago, and I didn't know he was a poet. I knew he was a musician, and so please welcome Ken Hook.
Yeah, it was back in 1990, I think, when we met. So she taught me how to run a TV camera, and she wasn't going to take no for an answer either. So it's great. I got three pieces I'd like to share with you tonight. Two poems, and then if you'll indulge me, I'll play you attempt to play you a song. So this first one, I got to thinking about how I used to think. And, you know, when I was young, everything was pretty much black and white. You know, my developing perceptions and stuff, it was either this or it was that, you know. It was either right or wrong, or it was progressive or destructive, you know. There was no middle ground there, but as I've gotten older, I see that there's plenty of middle ground. And maybe that's where this poem came out of. I don't know what to call it. I'll probably call it The One. Suddenly, my privileged veil is yanked from naive eyes, and my whole collection of absolutes revealed as half-truths and lies. I danced life's dance, steered careful course, watched my brothers meet their fate, and managed to avoid their battles. Now my time is running late. With the easy paths already followed, in my reckless pursuit of fun, was waiting for anyone to take stewardship, and I see now I must be the one. Thank you. This next piece is it's a tribute to a friend I lost last August, and he was very, as we all are, but he was a very special individual. He was a rodeo cowboy. He was a special services, special forces in the service, and later on he learned to drive the trucks and heavy equipment, and that's where I met him back in 1974. But we fast forward 2 decades, and we met each other again, and this time he had learned to play some music, and so we got together through the music and bonded in a very odd friendship. He was a full-blood Apache and just about as redneck as it comes, and I was kind of a flighty, long-haired hippie at the time, and it was unusual, but the music held us together until we learned about each other, and it was a magnificent friendship. So I wrote this tribute to him at his memorial service, and it's called The Legend of Indian John. And it makes you wonder how this stocky red man did so well in a white man's world. But it seems rather obvious when you come to know that he shared the fierce blood of Geronimo. There was riding and roping and bucking and brawling, growing up with the hand he was dealt. Sooner, not later, he rode a man-hater all the way to a championship belt. He showed his steel as a Navy SEAL, expanding abilities and stature, and went from a house to the jungles of Laos and survived both combat and capture. When he drove a truck, it wasn't just luck. He could command any equipment like mad. Long hauling or logging, he made sure his calling was the best hired hand that they had. And it wasn't too long, adding his charisma to song, he taught himself to play the guitar, singing Elvis and Johnny. He sang the full country Monty, and to the locals, he was a star. And while serving the Lord, he got his reward, not just by praying in his pew, but as a chaplain of the people he could marry and bury and give unto Jesus his due. And he shared this life with a very good wife, because family was paramount, you see. He was generous to others. He had many brothers, and I was proud that one of them was me. God bless you, John. You will live on in this your latest endeavor, for your warmth, your kindness, and your strength, for your music, your friendship, and yes, even your fighting spirit are engraved on our hearts forever. Okay, if you'll give me a second to get my guitar, I'll attempt this. it's very hard to remain neutral these days in a very divided country. I recall the phrase that America has the best government that money can buy. And in that spirit, I wrote this protest song. And I wanted to dedicate it to all three branches of corruption. Comes Congress built on Capitol. Its seats and its votes are for sale. To funnel all the money back to 1%, leaving 99 not too big to fail. And your claims of innocence rings hollow while you're eating out of corporate hands. Just stick to the story. You didn't know it was harmful to the people and the land. The courts are revealed as political decisions, just a sign of the time. Opinions so highly predictable, too often along party lines. And your claims of justice ring hollow. Privilege matters more than the law. And when giant corporations enjoy personhood, money is the freest speech of all. Some say the White House is criminal, a vindictive king on a gold set, only united in divisiveness, couldn't tell the truth on the bet. And your claims of leadership ring hollow. Your policies can't be sustained. Just being a statesman isn't profitable. There'll always be someone to blame. Thank you.
Thank you, poets. Thank you, Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
All right, Mark's giving you the wrap it up sign. Thanks so much for giving us all this time. You can listen to kmuz.org, 88.5, 100.7. It's not just me, blah, blah, blah. There's beautiful music shows, a lot of great community information, and come on down and make a show. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Liz. Wasn't that great? Okay, a couple of things. We have, there's cake in the back.
There's cake.
So eat the cake. There's a container back there that's for raising funds for the Salem Poetry Festival. And so we're raising money for that for 2027. There's two lists back there. One's for the open mic and one is for the mailing list. So if you want to do the open mic, you sign up on that list. If you want to be on the mailing list, you sign up on that list. There's two books back there. It says you can purchase them for $10. If you put any amount of money in that container back there, just take one of the books and we'll call it even. All right. So we'll take a little break and we'll come back for the open mic.